With your knowledge of NFL football and all of its players, you can win some UPX and Spark in the Upland Metaverse. Upland has just announced the Triple Threat Challenge, which is an exciting spin on fantasy football in the Metaverse. In this video, I'm going to explain to you everything you need to know in order to excel at this contest and win UPX and Spark. This video is sponsored by Lakeside Legits, which is part of the Lake Wacomas Collective in Kansas City. If you're looking for mementos in order to complete one of your collections for this contest, make sure to check out their store. You can find a link in the description below or find out how to locate them on the Upland map in the link in the upper right-hand corner. They are in the northwest corner of Kansas City. You can also see this link to the Upland Guide football maps in the description below. From here, you can see many different shops that exist and learn more about them. Before I explain how to compete, you want to know what you can win. And I said that there's UPX and Spark up for grabs. And here we can see the table showing the leaderboard where the top 50 scores will earn both UPX and Spark based on what you see here. You can create up to 32 entries into this contest by adding legits into a specific team collection. And theoretically, you could win 32 times if each one of those collections ranks you in the top 50 overall scores. If you're brand new to Upland or Legits, make sure to take a look at the link in the description below to learn how to get started with NFLPA Legits, or watch our playlist on Legits in the upper right-hand corner. In order to excel in this competition and rank in the top 50 players, first of all, you're going to have to know your football. You are going to want to know which players are going to have exceptional weeks this upcoming week and have great stat lines. Knowledge is power, but that's not enough. You also need to have their legits, whether they are essentials or mementos. Replicas will also factor into this when they are introduced to Upland in the future. In order to enter the contest, you are going to need to have 3 legits of different players on the same team from the 2022 season. You can toggle the years here in the corner, and then you can scroll down and select the team that you want to add the legits to. The 3 legits you want to enter into the contest, you are going to want to add to the triple threat collection. Now, I don't have any additional eligible legits to place into this one, but you do need to have 3 different players from the same team of the same year. Now, if you have to break up a different collection in order to complete this one for the contest entry, after the snapshot is taken and the registration period has concluded, you are then able to remove the legits from this collection and move them back where they were. For this first contest, the registration ends on Thursday, November 24th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. But always make sure to refer back to Upland's official announcements to verify exactly when these contest registration periods end. Now that you know how to enter, the question is what legits do you want to put into this collection? And for that, Upland has created this legit score calculator. You can also find this in the link in the description below. We can see that there are different tabs for each of the different positions, and these are the statistics that will provide you with points. The name of the game is obviously to maximize the number of points for each of your 3 legits that you have in the collection. Here, for example, we can see that for every passing yard that the quarterback throws, you will get 0.25 points as your base. So we can see here that if he throws for 100 yards, you will have a legit score of 25. Now that you might have a team and some players you have in mind that might have great games, you also need to factor in the different types of multipliers that you can get on your base score. We can see here that there's a type modifier, which refers to the type of legit. We have essentials, mementos, and replicas, which will be coming in the future, but are not relevant at this point in time. So if I were to select Tom Brady as one of the players to put into this triple threat challenge, if I had an essential and let's say based on this calculation, he had 25 legit score, if I had a memento of Tom Brady, then I would actually get 50% more points. And that we can see here in the memento score, which is 50% more than the legit score. The second type of multiplier is for the number of fire statistics that a memento has. Here is a memento of mine from the Super Bowl in 2020. And when you click on the memento, you are able to see the top 5 different statistics here, where each one of these 5 can have a fire statistic attached to it. This fire stat essentially means that this player had an above average or a career game in that specific statistic. It's important to note that just because the team did win the game does not mean that there will necessarily be a fire statistic here. We know that fire statistics are valuable in the sense that if you have a memento with 3 or more fire stats, it can be included in the ultra rare fire stat collection, where you need 3 mementos or replicas that have 3 fire statistics each. You can learn more about the NFLPA collections in the upper right hand corner. By adding legits to these collections, you are able to increase your fan score in order for a chance to get autographs in the future and also mint more desirable mementos. Take a look at the video as well in the upper right hand corner to learn more about why you want to increase your fan score. So back to the calculator, if you have a memento that has 5 fire statistics, you will then multiply your fan score by an additional 2. So the first multiplier that we see here is of 1.5 from an essential to a memento. And since I would have a 5 fire stat memento, I would then multiply this memento score by 2 in order to get a total score of 75. So my total score for this competition would be the sum of the 3 different players that I have legits of that I have placed in the triple threat collection for that specific team. Now that you understand a little bit better the way that the scores are calculated, I now go back to what I said at the beginning and ask you, how good is your football knowledge? Let's say your favorite team is Tampa Bay, where their star player is Tom Brady, and maybe you have lots of Tom Brady mementos, some of them even having 4 or 5 fire statistics. You might automatically think that placing a Tom Brady 5 fire stat statistic into this competition would be a no-brainer. It's really hard to bet against the GOAT, but if you know that Tampa Bay is playing a very strong defensive team that has a very weak offense, it might make more sense for you to place a Tampa Bay defensive player into this competition, even if you don't have one of his mementos. Theoretically, if Tom Brady was to have a horrible game, providing very little offense and a lot of interceptions, then adding a multiplier to a very low number will not give you a lot of points. Alternatively, if there is a player where you do have his essential and you know that he is going to have a breakout game, then that might provide you with more points than a player that has a memento. Now, this isn't always true, and it is very dependent on the actual games that are being played, but this is a scenario that can absolutely play out. So the players who do know football best and who are able to collect the right essentials and mementos, and not necessarily the best players overall, could absolutely come ahead in some of these competitions. If you need to pick up some essentials before this competition, you need to go to the home stadium of that team. You can learn about minting essentials in the video in the upper right hand corner. And if you're looking to pick up some mementos, take a look at some of the Metaventures or even Lakeside Legits, which is located here in the upper left hand corner of Kansas City. All the triple threat contest details can be found in the link in the description below. And if you have any questions about Legits, feel free to ask in the comments or in our Discord server, and you can learn more by watching these videos down below.